Now I'm on my way to Brooklyn.
Brooklyn? Did you come all the way to New York to end up in Brooklyn?
I've heard so much about it. It sounds like a truly wondrous place.
What's so wondrous about it?
Brooklyn appeals to me. Is there any reason why I shouldn't make it my destination?
Well, that's not a logical question. I can't give you a logical answer.
Sorry that took so long. For some reason, I had to be told all the differences between aspirin and Tylenol. Not that it matters to me. Justine will be on chewable aspirin until she's 30.
How is she? She's sleeping?
Not really. These police are really very heavy-handed. I mean, they ride at that school. They drag those kids out of class, the same kids in the same class, and ask the same questions every day. They all think they're about to be arrested. Justine's having nightmares. She thinks it's all her fault. She thinks if she hadn't screwed around that morning trying to find her barrettes, that we would have been in that corner and it wouldn't have happened.
Is that why she hasn't been to see me?
Come on, don't you worry about Justine. Come on, stop that. Justine will be fine. You know Justine. She's tough as nails. Please. I always imagine that they have these big computers and things. And instead, they march around with these index cards and these stubby little pencils and talk about calling in psychics.
We are seeing a psychic on Thursday. Listen, last night we get 3 phone calls right now. The first one says she's had a vision of Alex in an old blue car, an old blue car. 1 minute later, somebody else calls up, talks about a blue car. 15 minutes after that, somebody calls up, describes an old blue car with a child he feels sure is Alex lying in the backseat of the car. And then I remembered there was a car that drove past the house the morning that Alex disappeared, an old blue car.
Oh, God, that's amazing.
So we're going to work with this woman. She's had a lot of success with Monetti before. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's like animals. Maybe, you know, that they smell and see things that we don't smell and see. Maybe there are people like that. Maybe there are people who know things we don't know.
You're right. I never thought about it. You're right. Oh, look, I just have to drop this stuff off. Can you wait?
No. Will you call me tonight?
Yeah, sure. Take care.
crowds of men and women attired in the usual costumes. How curious you are to me. On the ferry boats, the hundreds and hundreds that cross, returning home, are more curious to me than you suppose. And you that shall cross from shore to shore, years hence, are more to me and more in my meditations than you might suppose. Walt Whitman. Crossing Brooklyn Ferry. These two beautiful Italian Renaissance mansions, built by Frederick Peterson in 1857, was home to two prominent Brooklyn, New York families. Alfred Treadway White grew up in number 2. He built well-known projects like the Workmen's Cottages in Cobble Hill, as well as the Japanese Gardens in the Brooklyn Botanical Garden. Abel Lowe lived in number 3 and became wealthy via the Chinese tea trade. His son Seth became mayor of Brooklyn and later New York City. Number 1 Pierpont Place was the mansion of Henry Pierpont and was demolished in 1946 to make way for the BQE. Rumor has it that the Pierpont Mansion, owned by Gladys Underwood James, was offered as a bargaining chip to Robert Moses for a playground as part of the redirection of the BQE that were spearheaded by the Brooklyn Heights Association. There is no paper documentation confirming this story.